mama, I wanna go home. It seems it never rains in Southern California. Thank you. You know I hope it is that kind of love. It never rains in California. But girls, don't they warn you? It pours, it pours.
Hey, welcome back, viewers. It's your half-assed reporter again. The guy on the bike, and we're down at the bottom of Soho, and we're going to run into the Peter Freeman gallery. I'm going to look at an exhibition by Matt Mullican titled Pantagraph. Probably if you've been listening to the Kalm report for the last year or so, you have heard me reference the pictures generation and the picture show. And, well, partially that's because that was one of the major exhibitions that sort of set the scene for where we're at now. And also, I've been working on a piece dealing with the pictures generation and the various people that were involved and their relationships and how a group, a coterie, a collection of friends can influence art history. Matt Mullican was not curated into the picture show that was organized by Douglas Crimp at Artist Space in 1977, but he was an integral part of the group of people. A lot of them came out of Cal Arts. And, well, Matt actually comes from a very well-known, established art family. His father was Lee Mullican, and we covered a show of his that was up at James Cohen Gallery during the summer. Matt Mullican is a Berlin and New York-based artist, and since the 1970s has developed a multidisciplinary body of work exploring modes of representation, knowledge, communication, and organizations. And for this show, he's presenting 3 types of work. He's got 5 of these large banners, and well, I always enjoyed these works, although I haven't seen any that were quite this big. I like the way he's able to create a corporate logo, although it's very amorphous. You don't really know what he's trying to sell or promote. I guess there's some kind of a huge ideological concept, maybe. This is a classic. I've seen him use this image for years. Also, he's got a couple of huge painted canvas pieces hung floor to ceiling, and these are rubbings. Gee, I guess that's the artist right there. They're calling this Untitled Center Subject Over Center Language, 2016 acrylic gouache and oil stick rubbing on canvas in 4 parts. Okay, that would just be that part. So each one of these square units is about 6.5 feet. So this piece is probably about 13 feet by 35, 36, something like that. And this is mostly primary colors. Just got a little green in there. Now, I don't know what the process would be for him to do a rubbing. I don't know whether he has to cut out a little form that would have edges where the lines are, or exactly how he would do that. This other piece, this is also huge. And they're calling this Untitled parentheses Pantagraph. And again, this is probably about 13 by 14 feet tall. And almost 40 feet long, maybe. Well, I like the classical typeface. Looks like some kind of hermetic symbolism. This diagram completed doing, I can't really read that. It was an insist object. Well, I think maybe the tree of life. Okay, I can dig that. This is nice. Now the other body of work are these drawings. So he's got 535 displayed on tables, 16 tables. And okay, so a lot of this is also dealing with maybe classic hermetic imagery.
So this is in the chair. Yeah, there's this one, and this one. And look at the then you've got, look at this. The little boy is a red car going to this. And then we'll go to
Okay, I guess there's some kind of a narrative there. Oh, the Munsters. Paul Clay. Jericho. Bruegel. Burning Cross. Well, as I mentioned, Matt was kind of peripherally, maybe not so peripherally, but was one of the Pictures Generation artists. And I thought that was worth noting because Troy Brauntuch, who actually was one of the 5 people that was in the show curated by Douglas Crimp, is also have an opening that's popping tonight, and we're going to try to pop over and see that too in Chelsea. Okay. We've just pedaled across town. We're here on, I believe it's 19th Street, to the Petzel Gallery. Troy Brauntuch. Well, it's about 10 minutes before closing, so I'm going to keep the camera on and make a quick running commentary here. Now, I believe that Troy was a graduate of Cal Arts, came to New York in the late 70s, had some shows with Mary Boone, and I believe he has been living and working out in Texas recently. Oh, there's the artist Troy Brauntuch right there, and he's talking with another Pictures Generation guy, Robert Longo. Oh, Robert's store. And Troy was one of the 5 people that was in the original picture show at Artist Space. Robert Longo is one. Sherry Levine was one. Philip Smith was one. And Jack Goldstein. This piece is untitled. Actually, they're all untitled, lucky for me. Well, when I'm talking about the Pictures Generation, I think one of the underlying themes, the conceptual themes of the whole movement is the way that the media and television, newspapers and things have really created their own reality by manipulating images. And so the Pictures Generation basically just thought they would sort of take those tools and turn them back on the society in general. This piece is pigment on cotton, 111 by 157 inches. Now, I think one of the things that people liked about Troy is that his work has an incredible amount of subtlety. Some of the other artists, well, like we just saw Matt Mullican, that's very bold designs. Robert Longo is dealing with black and white figure drawings. But Troy's work has always been very, very fine, very wonderfully and delicately crafted, almost ephemeral. This is untitled statue. It's 100 by 55. Pigment on cotton. This is a very large show. It's a lot of these big paintings. This is titled Dress Number 3. Okay, I'll move over these slowly so you can try to suss out the imagery. Now, when I was looking at his work back in the early mid-'80s, a lot of it was pastel on paper, and it was similarly subtle, except that then he would have these large drawings framed under glass, and between the incredibly subtle renderings and the glass, the images were almost impossible to see. So these pieces are all dresses. well, just as a painter, I have to say that I like this development of the working on canvas with the pigment. Now this also takes me back to some other painters that were making waves. This is also a dress. It's a diptych, 89 by 106. There's a painter named Lois Lane who was getting a lot of attention in those days. This is dress number 4, and she was doing a lot of black paintings, except that rather than being very subtly brushed, she was dealing with a matte versus glossy blacks. The other thing, and you kind of get an impression like that when we step into this large gallery, is that these works actually kind of make me think of Ad Reinhardt. It's another large diptych. This is Untitled Gloves. 108 by 99. You know, there's a part of me that always gets a little frightened by work that is so obsessively well crafted. Especially when it's this fashionable. This is Gloves number 6. More pigment on canvas. You know, the other thing is, just look around, everybody is basically dressed in matching outfits. More gloves. Yeah, it is kind of odd, this installation, and almost makes me think of the Rothko Chapel. Not that I've been there, but I've seen photographs. And it's kind of ironic that Troy would be dealing with, instead of some kind of existential, metaphysical question, he's dealing with ladies' garments and ladies' fashion accessories. Well, I think all of the paintings back here are versions of gloves. Again, I would be interested in seeing how these hold up over time. I know that he's working with pigment on canvas. I remember that Robert Moskowitz, one of the new image painters, that was a movement that was contemporary with the pictures generation, but the new image painters, Robert Moskowitz was doing pieces with dry pigment on canvas, and collectors would buy them and they would take them home, and after a year or two, the pigment would fall off and suddenly you'd have a different looking painting. Now, I'm not saying that these are going to have the pigment fall off, but it would be interesting to see how they last over the next 20 or 30 years. James Kalm reporting on Troy Brauntuch here at Petzel, 456 West 18th Street in Chelsea. Thank you, Kate. Thank you.
Thank you.